Welcome, chefs, back to the kitchen. This is episode 17. We are back with another episode in which we are talking about all things travel. In this episode, we're just going to be sitting here, Jake and I, having our little therapy session, talking about what we love about travel, what we don't love about travel, and what we wish we would have known when we first started. So we talk about a whole lot of things. We think you're going to have a lot of fun with this episode. But as always, if you do have any questions, you can leave them on YouTube. You can send us a message through Instagram or social media. However you prefer to reach out to us, we always appreciate those comments. But without further ado, let's cook.
Living in a daydream. Ooh, such a sweet thing. Life on a big screen. It's such a beautiful scene, yeah.
Happy last day of January.
Thank you.
31st
Are you saying
January?
that to me or the followers?
To you, Nathan.
Oh, thanks.
Always to you.
Happy end of January to you. And happy beginning of birthday month tomorrow.
Also, my dog's gonna be featured in this podcast. Walter, say hello.
Yeah.
But what a month. Can't believe this is already. I feel like this year's gonna fly by. I feel like 2023 flew by.
Man, I
Like-
can't even think about it. I still haven't processed.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife and I still have yet to kind of sit down and go over what happened in 2023, what we did do, what we didn't do,
Yeah.
what we want to do. It's just already happening too fast.
Yeah, and then this month's over. Because I feel like yesterday we were doing Premiere Pro, and that was a year
goodness.
ago, and then moving on to the audio course. I just feel like, on my time hop, it was Cancun.
Yeah,
Wild.
crazy.
So yeah, what a year.
2024, off to a
But I
good
love-
start.
This year's been good. This year's been good so far.
Yeah,
Taking care of
Yeah.
us.
we're talking about a pretty fun subject, a subject
Yeah.
that I feel like we have a good amount of experience with. I'd say a lot of things on the show we just riff off of, and sometimes we have zero experience. But I feel like with this one, we actually have a decent amount of experience.
Understatement of the year.
Yeah,
Jake
we've
and
given
Nate
so
offering
many
their takes on
opinions,
things that they don't understand at all.
zero clue.
Yeah, here's what I think about that.
But yeah, this one we're talking about travel, right? The upsides, the downsides, the in-betweens.
Yeah.
What is it about travel? Why do we want to do it? Why does every videographer have the goal to be a wedding filmmaking destination videographer? Like, why
Yeah.
do we have that?
I think, let's just dive into it, man. Because I got
let's
some
do it.
energy about this one.
Yeah.
But also, like, I want to be careful to not, like, downplay how amazing
Right.
travel can be. And that if that's your goal, it's a great goal to have. But we get asked a lot. I think you and I get asked a ton, like, how do we travel? So we want to be very, very transparent, pull back the curtain and say, like, well, here's the pros and here are the cons of being travel videographers. And at the end of the day, it's kind of what meets your needs, like what checks your boxes, what tickles your fancy, if you will. And
I've never heard you say that in my life.
I don't know where it came from, dude.
Yeah.
And yeah, Nate and I,
Onward.
we haven't traveled the whole world. We haven't been to as many countries as other videographers have. But that's not the claim. The claim is the pros and cons of traveling in general.
Right.
Whether you're traveling 4 hours or traveling across the state or across the country or across the world. I think for me, man, like when we first started weddings, I just wanted to travel. I think it's because when you're a 20-year-old kid, the thought of like going to see the world just sounds crazy cool, and it still sounds cool to me. But it's crazy how 7 years later I don't care at all.
Yeah.
I still wanted to go travel, but not with my camera.
I agree. I think also...
I don't even know where to begin on this topic.
Yeah, I think also, of course, social media, fan the flame. Everyone is always, we like to travel, right? We just like seeing new places, experiencing new things, new foods, new culture. But social media, and I would say, I feel like you can always trace things back to the Sam Colder era.
Oh yeah,
Sam
dude.
Colder, whether you're a wedding videographer or not, he has a huge influence in most videographers, and he popped off for a while, and all you saw were his edits of him being in Bali one day, and then the next day he's
Doing
in
handstands
Costa
on
Rica.
skyscrapers in Dubai.
Yeah, exactly. And then his recap videos of his whole year of traveling, and then we all of a sudden had this idea that we need to be travel filmmakers, and then but we need to make money. So weddings are probably the lowest barrier of entry to become a videographer. And I think that's just kind of how it got coupled together. It says, I need to make money. Can I travel for weddings? And that's where it kind of started to be this movement, I'd say.
Yeah, and for me too, like coupled with like I feel like I was really doing well in my local LDS Utah market.
Right.
But I felt, and this is my ignorance talking, but I felt at the time that I hit a cap. I felt like if I wanted to make more money, I had to leave the state for some reason, because, which funny looking back now, I just wish I would have like looked into other markets around me. By the time I was like, oh, if I want to charge more money, I got to leave my state. I thought that for some reason my local market had a price cap, which it didn't, but my limited knowledge told me it did. And I was like, yeah, I want to do some traveling. And so we started booking travel weddings, and I started trying to market myself more as a travel videographer. And it was fun. Like, it was awesome. Got to see some really cool places. Got to go to some really cool places. Got to meet people from different cultures and backgrounds. That was really awesome for me. But a few of the cons that started to appear pretty quickly, and you were around for, I'd say, 95% of all of my travel weddings before we joined forces, was time away from your actual life.
Right.
It tripled how long it took you to film a wedding, because there's now 2 extra days of just traveling. Even you get back in the morning, on the third day, you're still beat and you're tired and you don't want to do anything. And people say, well, make your trips longer and have more fun. And it's like, yeah, we've done that before. Like, you and I have shown up early and like gone to museums and try to make it more fun. But at the end of the day, like, you and I personally, we want to go work. And if there is downtime, we'd rather be with our wives and not with each other. And so it was kind of like this, like, yeah, I'm in this cool place, but like Kenzie's not here and Kayla's not here. So like, I don't know. It just wasn't as like meaningful. And that started to take a toll on us as well.
Yeah. No, I agree. It is cliche. Like, you're away from your family. And even if you aren't married or dating, like, you're just away from your home life. You're away from the things that you know, the things that are familiar to you. And it's fun at first. It's great seeing new things, but it gets old, You kind of miss routine. You kind of miss the consistency.
Yeah. You really do. I do.
Yeah.
And like, I think also I feel like this last year, travel's been a lot easier because we've adapted our traveling gear. But before, we were just traveling with so much bags too. So like, every aspect of traveling just started to suck. Right. We just had a lot of gear, a lot of stuff. And then we were always running through terminals. So I think we just had a lot of experience like that. And at the end of the day, it was just like, and then coupled with like, once we learned that we could find that this market locally that we could get into, that we could make the same amount of money and have 2 extra days of our lives back. Yeah. That was appealing as well.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought up the gear, because if you watch our traveling mini course, many times we talk about the think tank bag, and that how it single-handedly persuaded us to stop taking as much travel weddings, or at least to drastically change how we pack. Because we hated lugging that thing around because it was so heavy. It was just another bag. We just had to make multiple trips. It was just a nightmare carrying all our stuff. And
took up space.
Yeah, we know there are people out there who travel with far more things than we do, but it just wasn't our style. It's not our style. We like to travel as light as possible.
Yeah. So it's been nice. And also, like, Nate and I just have like a deep love and appreciation for Utah. Like, every time we come home, we just love it more. Yeah. And so I don't know, the more serious you get into your relationships and your marriages, you're just like, it's just that much harder to leave, Yeah. Even if you're getting paid, it's just like, it's not worth it.
Yeah. On that topic, though,
our take
on that topic of being paid, though, I think that could be another downside of travel weddings. Like you were saying before, there's kind of this market in Utah. There's the LDS market, And then there's the people coming to Utah to go to, Moab, Zion, whatever it is, Park City. So we kind of have this mindset of traveling. People have bigger budgets. They're going to pay us more money. But there are so many weddings where we just broke even or even lost money because we didn't figure out how to factor in travel. And it took us a while to figure that out. So I think that's something that people don't think about is you need to learn how to budget in the actual travel costs, the flight, the rental car. If you are going to be Ubering, your food there, there's a lot of unforeseen costs that if you don't factor those in, if you just give them one pricing, one package, you could easily make the same amount of money as you would have if you stayed home. And that's what we started to realize. We started to realize, hey, we've been gone for 3 days and we only pocketed this much. We could have made this in 8 hours with zero travel.
Yeah, and we could have done 2 weddings on Friday and Saturday,
Exactly.
Yeah, it is
But
hard.
we want that clout. Everyone wants the clout to post Italy or whatever.
Yeah, and that's the biggest pro of travel, man. Like, and to not downplay, it is so cool seeing the world.
It's amazing.
Like last year, we got to do Cancun and Italy and Hawaii all in a year. Like, that was awesome. Like, it's so cool to see those places and eat that food and be a part of those cultures. Like, that was seriously so fun. Some of our favorite trips, like Cancun, was one of our favorite trips with Orlando. Just had so much fun. Ate so well. Just loved it. But yeah, like, so that's the main reason, in my opinion, is to get that, that cultural experience and see the world. But us personally, the more we travel, the more like, like, as much as we love each other, you and I, I'm like, I'd rather be here with Kenzie. I'd rather go see that with Kenzie or do that with Kenzie.
Right.
And not work. Because Nate and I, when we travel, we fly in the night before and we leave the second we can the morning after, like as early as possible. Sometimes we just don't even sleep because it's not even worth it. We just go and we leave. And recently we've been staying at airport hotels just to be that much closer to the airport to get out of there.
It's amazing. Travel back.
So like, yeah, we're just, it's just become, and Dave Chappelle actually said this. I know he's a controversial figure, but I freaking love the guy. His wife said like, your job is so fun. And he said, no, my job is a job. I'm fun. And I've been thinking about that a lot the last few weeks. Because that was from his last special. And it's like, like as cool as any job is,
it's a job.
Or seems, at the end of the day, if you're really working, it's just a job. And you view it as a job with deliverables and a schedule, and it takes the fun out of it. The fun comes from your personality and what you're willing to put into it. And Adam and Justin taught us that. Adam Grumbo and Justin Roth taught us this, that every time they have to travel, because they, like us, don't particularly love it, at least I don't think they do as much, but they make a point to make the trip fun. They put something that's not work-related into their trips, seeing a museum, seeing a sunrise, seeing something cool. So that way it feels that they're still getting that, that serotonin. Is it serotonin? That
the happiness.
Yeah, that boost of something else that's not work-related, which you and I rarely do. And if we have the chance, we try to do something fun too. But more times than not, we fly in, we stay in the hotel, we film, we go home.
Yeah, I think our version of Adam and Justin is we go out to a place that we like to eat. And we started doing that. What do we? Yeah. I mean,
I don't know. Just find a good food place and let's just go eat, and that's good enough for us. Like we're happy. Happy.
I think in the past we used to just go to Tried and True.
Room service even.
Man, we used to. Do you remember when we used to go to just Walgreens and pick up just candy for the whole weekend?
Yeah, Nate and I's travel beginnings was wild, actually. Especially knowing Nate now and his diet now. The fact that he did that with me is wild.
Crazy. Yeah,
we go to Walgreens and just stuff carts full of crap.
The first time we ever traveled, we went to Oregon. We were staying in this basement Airbnb, and we just ordered boxes of pizza. And we went to Walgreens, and we got Red Bull, we got Funyuns, we got like Sour Patch Kids, Skittles, Twix. We had all the sweets, and we performed really well. We're not going to sit here and say it affected how we performed. We did good. It was a great wedding, but we felt like crap, and we kept doing that for, I don't know how many weddings, until it just hit a point where we just said, I can't do this. We can't eat this stuff all week. I come back feeling like a trash can. So now
start
we just
dreading.
well, now we just actually try to go out to a nice restaurant. It's probably usually like a steakhouse or something like that, and we just try to eat like some
wine
fun,
and dine each
fancy
other.
food. Yeah, wine and dine with each other and show our
If
wives
it's an
what
option,
we're eating.
yeah, if it's an option, we'll skip the restaurant and room service.
Oh,
If it's an option.
absolutely. Yeah. And while we,
The less we can travel, the better. So if that's even traveling
Yeah.
from our hotel room to a restaurant, happily.
that's kind of been our routine, just room service and Super Smash Bros. That's the best thing we've
Yeah.
found so far. But yeah,
So
that's-
I think the rule of thumb, you guys, if you're wanting to really get into travel weddings, and we're very transparent about this, is it is fun. Like if something you want to do is travel, like don't let us hold you back, but just understand, like you got to really ask yourself, why am I traveling? What's the reason? What do I want to gain from this? What does my business want to gain from this? And once you go down that road, you have to be willing to stay on that road. Because once you say you're a travel filmmaker and all your portfolio is travel destinations,
you're going to be traveling.
you're
a
out
lot.
there, you're traveling, and it's really hard to rein that back in. And then with that being said, let's answer the question, well, how do you, if you want to get into that space, how do you book those travel weddings? And again, there's no right answer here. I think a lot of people will tell you different things. All we can say is what's worked for us and our experience, which is limited. And everyone else who teaches you anything different is lying, because they only have their own experience as well, and their experience worked for them, and unique circumstances led to unique circumstances, which will never happen for you. So it is a very unique process. All that to say, very simply, if you want to get into destinations, you have to show yourself in destinations. It's kind of like a scratch their back, scratch yours type scenario, where if you want people to trust that you can handle a destination, you got to show them that you can do a destination. Which means maybe posting less portraits of couples and showing off more landscapes, or couples in landscapes, more wides, more locations. Have your feed be full of destinations, your website be full of destinations, your thumbnails be full of destinations, so people just look at you and say destination. And even if you live in like Arkansas, find a variety of locations you can shoot in to show variety on your feed, to show that you can actually you go places.
Right.
That's what we did, and that's really all we did.
Yeah. No,
We
absolutely.
tried to get one destination that looked a little bit different than Utah, and Utah luckily has multiple landscapes, so you can actually show yourself as pretty diverse portfolio, location wise. So we got lucky there, but like Nate had a friend in Oregon. We showed the video in Oregon. I put it all over my feed, mainly all the wide shots of like the Oregon trees and the beach, and all of a sudden people looked at me differently as a travel videographer and not a Utah videographer.
Yeah. I also think this is pretty much the same tangent, but lately there's been a lot of hate on it's all coming from videographers hating other videographers who are only posting editorials and workshops and things like that. Their whole premise is, I don't want to see what you can do at a workshop. I want to see what you can do at a wedding. But the only feedback I've ever heard from that is, again, videographers at other videographers. I think workshops, editorials are a great way to get out of your state if you need to and show off a different
Absolutely.
location just for your portfolio. Because at the end of the day, yeah, some other videographers on social media are going to know that, yeah, 100% that was a workshop. That's not a real wedding. But
Right.
other brides, other couples, they don't know our world like we do. They might just see that and they just say, wow, that is a beautiful bride in a beautiful place, beautiful imagery,
Right.
beautiful camera work. I'm doing my wedding in Hawaii. I want to fly
Right.
you there because I saw this. So I think that's a great way, is just invest in workshops or editorials just at least once or twice, just to see what it's like and to network with others. I think that's a great way. And I think it's kind of getting this undeserved hate. Have you noticed that recently?
Yeah, and I think it's because of the oversaturation of workshops nowadays.
Exactly. Yeah,
and
everyone's got
styled
one.
shoots. I think it has run rampant,
It
but I
has.
do agree. I think the principle of it still is the same, and I think it's still a great opportunity for you to show yourself off.
Right.
But even at like our destination, our workshop last October,
Right.
people they were trying to be more destination videographers, and they were shooting very tight shots of the couple.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we're at the Salt Flats, we're at this Italian villa. Put your tight lens away and just get a
Show
wide.
off the wides. Yep. Show off the wides.
Show the destination you want to be booked in
Yeah.
more often.
Yeah.
If you want to be a destination videographer, show yourself as a destination videographer.
And we have had many participants of our workshop say, I actually just booked a wedding in Utah, some of them, but I just booked
Yeah.
a destination wedding, and that is really satisfying to hear. They do work.
Yeah, one of those guys is coming to Cedar Hills, Utah to film at the Highland Gardens.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah,
how'd you get
coming
that
right
gig?
here.
He's out of state, yeah.
Yeah.
But same thing, like I got lucky. I had family in Arizona, so I go to Arizona often, and I'd market myself, shooting at the Gilbert Temple and Gilbert and Phoenix, and it just, it's about making connections in those locations. Back then, Instagram was different, so I would pay for my posts to be
Yeah, the
boosted
audience.
on people's feeds. That used to be one of the most effective Instagram tools out there. I would pay to have it be put in California, Arizona, and Hawaii feeds, and lo and behold, I got booked by California, Arizona, and Hawaii brides. But sadly, it's not as effective anymore.
Yeah.
The algorithm,
It's
the
different,
method has
yeah.
changed. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like Nate and I, are we traveling this year? Absolutely. We're
Yep.
a lot of travel plans, but it's a lot more intentional, and it's a lot more. It's less favors. It's more knowing our worth and saying we're not going to leave the state unless we're being paid this amount.
Right.
And we're very like confident in that
Yeah.
more than we used to be.
Yeah. No, I while you were talking, I was reminded of this, there was this book called Atomic Habits, and it talks about how a lot of people, they set these goals for themselves and they rarely stick to them. I guess in the spirit of January here, maybe we've already given up on some goals. So this might be purposeful in revisiting this. A lot of times we don't stick to the goals, not because of lack of discipline, but we just don't set up our workspace. We don't set up our environment to allow us to achieve those goals. Like if we're not being productive in our office space, it might be because it's messy. If we just optimize our office space, so we just walk in, snap our fingers, everything's lit, everything's well and just ready to go, we're more likely to accomplish our goals. So I just wanted to talk real quick about how we've removed some friction from our own routine to optimize our travel. And I'm going to talk about gear for a sec because we've hated gear in the past. We've tried everything. As a wedding videographer, we've traveled with Pelican cases. We've traveled with the FTF backpack, the Wandered backpack, the Brevity backpack. And as of right now in 2024,
Golf bags.
golf bags, sticks, whatever it is.
The bane of my existence, by the way.
Bane. But as of right now, our favorite backpack, our favorite just case in general, is the Nomadic 35L backpack. We fit
Peter McKinnon, baby.
everything in here. Everything. What we usually travel with? What, two of these backpacks, and
there's
our
room to
personals?
fill it still.
Exactly.
We are underutilizing the features of that backpack.
We have we were traveling with 3 C70s, a drone, all of our audio equipment, our gimbals,
Yeah.
task cams. I'm looking
So
on
our-
the ground right
our
now at my
current,
bag.
Yeah, same. Our current lineup is Nate and I each have a C70 and an R8, so 2 cameras each.
Yep.
Then in my backpack, I have a 7200, a 35, a 2470, and I don't know what that lens is. Maybe a 50. I forget. 18 to 35,
Yep.
the wide. And then I have our audio, all of our audio gear, everything audio we need, some cleaners, some tools, some mini tripods. It attaches our Peak Design tripod
Yep.
onto it, my laptop, tape, everything. And then Nate's bag, same camera setup,
Same thing.
additional lenses, drone, our lights.
All the drone, all the batteries, all our lights, which we have a Practolite, the Practolite
Huge thing.
602, 632. Huge
Yeah.
thing. We're
Big.
utilizing our bags to the fullest, and we still could fit more in there because they have that
Oh, and you
little
have
zipper
my V-mount battery, yeah?
that extends. Yes, it needs to be charged, by the way, so I need to give it back to you. I don't have the charger for it.
Maybe we should
Yeah.
swap that out so I charge. Anyway.
Yeah, you have the charging board. Why do I have the V mount? But yeah, we're utilizing, and again, we've used pretty much every case, every bag out there, and the Nomadic 35L is the cream of the crop right now. And we could extend it. There's that little zipper that makes it a little bigger, and we've never even had to do that.
And the front
that is-
pockets are completely unused.
Oh
so we
yeah,
could
I don't
fit
even
more
use
stuff
my
in there.
front pockets. But yeah,
But
with
here's-
that, we have everything.
Yeah, and here's the crazy thing, you guys, is that whenever every bag I've had, I've sworn by it every single time. Oh, Pelicans? Oh, only Pelicans.
Oh yeah.
I
With these
always
Trek
say
Pack
that what I
dividers.
have is always the best, and I've finally grown to a point of maturity where I see the strengths of all those things, and
Right.
we can confidently say that our gear setup are 2 backpacks with all of our gear, and then a small suitcase that carries our light stands, and maybe our charging stuff like chargers. That's all we need because that's how we want to travel.
Right.
And we understand that you give it to another filmmaker and it might not identify with them and it might not work. And we don't claim it will work for everybody. We probably think it won't work for most people, but it works for us and it makes our jobs better and our jobs easier.
Yeah.
And our eyes were open when we saw Le Rev do it. Minimal setup, run and gun, very just simplified, intentional process. And it wasn't until we saw someone else doing it and we thought, you know what, I identify with that. I like that a lot more.
Right.
And we tried it, and we've tried a lot of different things that haven't stuck, but this stuck hard. And now we love it, and we swear by it for us, not for. And we hope we don't ever come across as pushing onto you, but we do like to flex about it because we think it's awesome, and we truly do enjoy it.
Yep. So much so that we made multiple different lessons in our mini course about traveling of exactly how we pack everything. And we've had a lot of questions about it, and a lot of people have tried it, and they say, hey, it works for me. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like you said, we're not knocking on anything else. I still love my Pelican. Again, that's also on the ground right here. And as we just
and I still
used
bring
it
my
in
sticks
Las
bags
Vegas.
to I bring my sticks bags to local shoots all the time, like Vegas or local
Different
weddings.
strengths.
I'm like, you know what? I'm home.
Different
I
strengths.
got my car with me. I can bring all my heavy duty light stands and
Yeah. Still love all those other ones. I still love the Pelican. Love that thing to death.
I got 3 of them.
Speaking of which, what do you use that big one for? Do you still use that one?
Oh, I sold it.
You sold the big one.
Yeah, last week I sold it.
Oh, nice.
The big guy. It's been under my stairs
Yeah,
for
the
about
big-
a
yeah,
year
yeah.
and a half.
Collecting some
Sold
dust.
it with the Trek pack. So now I just have 3. One's for my red. Everything in my red requires is in its own Pelican case. Then I have another one that's completely empty, and then I have my old one with all the stickers on it. It has like just some like old lights and cables I don't use anymore.
Yeah, that's the OG one.
So really just 2 empty ones,
Yeah.
and then one for my red,
Yeah.
which basically means that these 2 Pelicans are on call if we ever need
Yeah. A red.
if a wedding ever calls for more gear,
Yeah.
we can easily just add on. Because when we're traveling, we each just have a
Light.
carry-on for like our clothes, so like we could easily bring another carry-on and check our clothes bag. So
Yeah. No, that's
which is another thing. That's like also why we travel light, is because it just makes like the plane, bus rides,
Yeah.
international
So
travel
much easier. You're not slowed down. You don't have to wait for things.
Like in Italy, you're walking down cobble streets, and it's just like you want to be nimble. You want to be quick. You want to be,
Yeah.
And I was so sick of lugging around
Yeah.
while trying to hold a gimbal.
Yeah. The less things you have to check as well, the less likely things are going to go wrong. Waiting in Italy for customs in your bag, and it's just
Even Cabo was stressful. I think Cabo was our
Yeah.
last time traveling heavy.
Mexico is stressful to go to.
Yeah.
I was surprised. I feel like Canada gets all the heat, saying it's tough to go to Canada, and Mexico is a
Zero
breeze. But
issues.
I feel like Mexico has been harder for us than Canada. We just basically walked across the border. Felt like we could have brought everything.
Yeah, I'm here to take work from your Canadian nationals, eh? And
Okay? Eat some poutine in the hotel.
world's most mid meal.
No, yeah, I think just our routine of optimizing our packing has really helped me, at least from a standpoint of, all right, we have a wedding this weekend. I don't dread it because I know it's just like, okay, my stuff is already packed. I'm just leaving for basically a day because we fly back pretty early on Sunday.
We've been around the world. Mm-hmm. We haven't been to some of the coolest places in the world. Like we still want to go to
Arkansas?
Greece. We still want to go to Ireland, which we're going to.
Yep,
We still want to. I would love to go to Tokyo. I would love to see the
Yeah.
Great Wall. Like I want to see
Yeah.
the pyramids. Like
Yeah.
But I think it goes to say that our favorite place has been Arkansas.
Love Arkansas.
Like-
And the only reason why,
Food.
food.
Yeah.
Wright's Barbecue, man. It's your experience of a place highly depends on the food you eat.
Absolutely.
Fact.
And Not to
We
sound
offer
cliche, but
discounts to
I think
go to
it's just-
Arkansas.
I think travel is an attitude, and in Arkansas, like seriously, I've been craving an Arkansas trip. I was gonna text the boys and say like we should just do a weekend in Arkansas, one of these days. But everyone's pregnant now, so it's hard to pick a time.
Yeah, that's true.
But maybe you and I just go do a team
Well,
retreat.
you and Kenzie are also pregnant.
We should do a team retreat in Arkansas.
We should do a team anything. We don't really do team things.
No, I just
Sorry,
I really-
Nate Affey. We're sorry.
I think about Arkansas Wright's barbecue weekly. Like
Those burnt
I
ends?
crave it. I crave it weekly, and I always think about how much would it be to just go there for a weekend.
Yeah. Not
In
gonna lie,
fact,
when you sent that text about burnt ends, testing something out this week, my first thought,
Oh yeah.
Arkansas. Wright's barbecue.
You're gonna
those
love
bacon
this
burnt
recipe.
ends. Ooh, baby.
All right. Let's see.
Cannot
Rogers.
wait.
Rogers, Arkansas.
Bentonville.
Let's just say we
Rogers.
leave-
What's this? Yeah, give me some numbers.
How about on your birthday?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind being there for my birthday.
Wait, aren't they closed on the weekends? We have to know this.
Oh yeah, they were closed on Sunday
Mondays.
and Monday.
So we have to be there on Saturday. That's fine.
Yeah, that
Alright,
one
let me
got
just
us
see.
last time. Yeah, just see. Any of you Arkansas listeners, if there are any of you, please, we will.
Yeah, I knew it. So they just open up a new.
They opened up a new Wright's barbecue. If you ever send us from
One-stop.
merch from Wright's, we will happily wear it on the show.
Yeah, you can fly to Tulsa, Oklahoma, which is.
I wish there were just direct flights from Salt Lake to Fayetteville or Rogers. Where do you fly into? Is it Fayetteville or is it Rogers?
Rogers.
Rogers? Yeah, great place.
Rogers, Arkansas. Anyway, I'll look that later.
We'll find that out.
We're speaking on a podcast here.
Sorry, guys.
I'm like
we get
planning
carried
my
away.
next vacation.
we get carried
All
away.
to say. Yeah. But you guys, honestly, this is a short podcast. It's just Nate and I ranting. We still want to travel, but I think the most important thing is to really think about what are your pros and cons. Why do
Right.
you want to travel? What's the reason?
Do you want to
is
do
so
it forever?
cool. Yeah.
Do you want to do it forever, or is this just a short time to get your travel fix? Because if it is just your travel fix, I feel like there are
Yeah.
other ways to do it.
And again, not like trying to sell you on anything, but Nate and I extensively talk about our travel guide. We made a whole course about it. It's a mini course in our full curriculum. You can put the link to the course below. But we talk about like how to charge for travel, how to get into travel, how to continually travel, how to really
Network
utilize
while you're
travel
there,
and
yep.
videography. And again, not to say we're experts at it because we do not claim to be. We don't think we are. We think we're far from it. But we have found success in the travel market. So, at least the extent that we've traveled. So,
Yep.
if you want, we'll put those resources below. And yeah, if you guys have any questions about travel, we don't really usually ask you guys for questions on the podcast, but like seriously, comment your questions below. Even on our Instagram page, wherever you're seeing this, like just ask your questions, DM us. We're happily answer them. We welcome questions. So we don't want to gatekeep anything. We never will gatekeep anything, unless we have some gold mine market that we will never exploit. I wish I would have gatekeeped my editor 5 years ago, but
Yeah, they can
what do you do?
overrun. What do you do? Hindsight 2020.
yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, anything else, Nathan?
No, I think just the too long didn't read version of this was just, like you said, figure out if you want to be a wedding videographer that travels, figure out your packing situation, and then really just kind of sit down with yourself and see where you're at in life. Do you have a family? How long do you want to be away from them?
Yeah.
How are you going to plan it into your budget so you don't lose money or you don't just break even? Figure out how to make a profit. Those are probably the biggest steps I wish we would have mastered right out the gate instead of spend years learning.
Yeah.
So those are the steps I'd say we'd recommend to others.
Final question. Number one location you want to travel to, where is it?
Number one location I want to travel to is, man, it kind of hops around. I was on the Iceland train for a bit, and then I was on the Greece train, but then you see the behind the scenes of what it's actually like in Greece, and it's just packed. And I'm like, man, I
Turns
don't
you
know
off.
if I want that. Yeah. Iceland, I do love Iceland. I've been there, but I feel like Stanton just owns Iceland. I think
wild, dude.
he owns Iceland. Honestly,
Are we talking about like travel to work or just like travel in general?
oh, what are you talking about?
Because I don't know. Well, I think they're
Travel in
different for me
general?
now. They're different for me. I
They
think.
are. That's a good distinction. Yeah, they are different. I think travel, just to travel, I've had this goal. I would love to go to. There are two different places. I would love to go to Japan for a skiing trip, but I would also love to go to France and live there for a month and take a baking curriculum, a baking class.
That's sick.
Yeah. Even though I've heard France really is not that great.
No,
I'd still
kind of a
would
trash
go there.
place.
Well, I would go to San Fran for the baking thing, but San Fran
That's
is San
Garbage.
Fran. Yeah.
Yeah, I think me too. I a couple of things. Like I said, I want to see the pyramids. That'd be surreal.
Ooh,
I also
Egypt would
would
be
love
cool.
to see Japan. I also would love to see the Great Wall of China.
Yeah.
Greece would be cool, but
Yeah,
like I'm not.
Greece
I don't know. I'm not as enticed about Greece for some reason.
Yeah.
I also just want to go back to Italy. I
loved Italy.
feel like there's so much more to do in Italy that I haven't done yet, and I want to do it.
Same. Definitely didn't do Tuscany justice. We were only there for like 2
I
days.
also would love to like a high level river rafting in South America.
River rafting.
I also want to see Machu Picchu.
Okay. Now we're getting somewhere.
That'd
Machu
be cool.
Picchu would be cool.
But yeah, I want to do like high river rafting. Like intense. My parents did it one time and it looks so crazy. I want to do it.
You know where I would go back to? Actually, you know where I do want to go is I want to go to Alaska in the summertime.
We should do a fishing
Beautiful.
trip in Alaska. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Catch some salmon. Is that
Catch some
in Alaska?
salmon. Yeah,
Is
it's
it
salmon.
salmon or river bass?
No, it's salmon.
There's no such
Yeah,
thing.
it's salmon.
I don't know my fish.
Wild Alaskan salmon.
Yeah.
Those are a few
Travel.
places.
Nathan,
Yeah.
let's be travel videographers again.
Yeah, what are we doing? What are we doing trying to
get back to
capitalize on
traveling.
inbound weddings?
Yeah.
Let's
I
get
love
rid of
inbound
that.
weddings.
Let's just
Like
do
dead
love
seriously, you
inbound
guys. I love the inbound destination market. People
It's a
coming to
good feeling.
Utah to get married, I love it.
Yeah, it's a good feeling knowing
Because
you're
they
just
appreciate
driving 40
Utah the
minutes.
way we appreciate Utah because they chose
Yeah.
to get married there out of state.
Yeah. 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 And sometimes it's refreshing to see people come to your state and they're like, wow, these mountains, these salt flats are so beautiful. How do you live with this every day? And you just have to sit there and say, I don't take this for granted as I should. Or I do take it for granted as I should
Yeah.
not.
I love
But
it.
yeah, I love the inbound weddings. I'm happy with where we are. I'm happy where we are our trajectory. Happy with all that.
Same. You guys, thanks for listening. Nate and I just sometimes every few weeks we just kind of want to sit and talk for a second. So
Yeah.
appreciate you guys listening.
Thanks for coming to our
us
therapy
chew the
session.
fat and stuff. Yeah. But next week we'll be back with Written by You. Link below to submit your stories. Please submit. It's anonymous again, so please be ruthless. And as a guideline, kind of how how I write my stories is I think,
I
how
thought
can I
this-
say this? How intensely can I describe this moment in a way that if my name was attached, I would be canceled over it? That's where I want your headspace to be, because that's what the content we want. And again, we don't. No one's name is. There's no like metadata showing your name. It's all anonymous. So please be ruthless.
Can't wait for sponsors to say, what do you want your podcast
Wait,
to be
yeah,
about?
sponsors like, actually,
Well, we want everyone just to be ruthless and just a bloodbath in every episode.
we want bad publicity. Yeah.
With that,
That's
we
just
love all our sponsors. Thank you. But we should probably end this.
All right, you guys.
All right. We'll
Have a
see
good
you
day.
next week.
Love you. Bye.